What was the funniest and the most unexpected business meets home life that you had?
Well, I mean, we started out in our kitchen.
You
So
did.
we started out in our kitchen and then, moved to the dining room table. And, it starts to take over your whole home. And then you don't even want to look at your house anymore. So I think our first office was we have like a covered area in our backyard, and we bought a bunch of old doors and made a room, and we started working in there filling orders. And
yeah, we filled 5,000 orders out of our living room. The first 5,000, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember being out there in the middle of winter, and it was so cold, but we were so persistent. And when Llance finally said, "You know what? I think maybe we're going to be able to get a little warehouse," that was like such a miracle. I never imagined we'd not have to work in our home. So again, it was all small steps, but that was how home life meets business. Also, we work together all day long. So even though we have our disagreements, and like most women, of course, I just shut down. But what's wrong? Nothing, that kind of thing. But we really get along well, and we're a really good team, and we actually have a lot of fun.
I love to hear that. This is amazing, actually, that you touch based on that, because I wanted to ask you next, working as a couple, especially when couples start businesses together and try to new projects, it can be a test of the relationship too. It will test the relationship. And I wanted to see how you navigated through that when challenges came up, and how did you grow together? How did that transform your personalities and the people that you are now? What was your journey like in that regard, relationship wise?
It hasn't stopped. I mean, it's an evolution. It's still, it's never, I think that's also something that makes it work, is that we're both in agreement that it's an evolution.
We're still learning. And I bring certain things to the table that he doesn't, and he brings certain things to the table that I can't. And so we rely on each other. We ask each other's opinions all the time. We disagree, and we talk it out. And I think that's the thing, we give each other. I respect all the things he can do, because there's so many business things. That's not my thing. That's his thing. Right. And then he respects what I can do. So that's really what makes it work.
Yeah. And we also, one of the other things that we always say to people is that we don't consider ourselves experts, which is good, because if we considered ourselves experts at what we're doing, then, there would be no more learning. And that also goes for the relationship as well. So we're always
seeking new information and
exactly
reaching out
and people will say, you've been doing this for 10 years, you've made millions of broth-in-a-teabag, why aren't you an expert? Well, because there's so much more to learn. There's so many more places to, navigate.
It's just like life, right? There's always opportunity to learn and to acquire more knowledge. And the bottom line is that we are not the boss. We have a dog, and our dog is the chief CDO, chief dog officer.
Right, he's looking at us.
We've already tried to satisfy him with 2 TREATS.
Yes.
But
yes.
Yeah. So we refer to him. We refer to him.
Beyond the business, the success, and the money, what legacy are you hoping to leave for the world?
We have 2 boys, and they've been involved in our business from, as early as we could get them involved. Both of them, sat at our booth selling our products for us, whether they wanted to or not. That was,
They had no choice.
Exactly. Both of them, carrying products, helping us pack up and that kind of stuff. I think what we can provide is
maybe inspiration. I don't think either of them want to follow us in these footsteps, but maybe the inspiration of
self-reliance,
and really, really, if you want something, you have to really, really work hard at it. That's the legacy,
and you don't give up,
and you work as a team, you work together, you have to compromise.
Yeah. So if we can provide the world, 2 more people that are motivated, that know that hard work is how you make things happen, that's the ultimate. If there's more than that, then it's all cream. We do get almost daily we get people who tell us about how much they love their product, how maybe during their cancer treatments they use the product because it was the only thing they could tolerate, or those types of things are amazing. And it's not something that we set out to do.
Right.
It's amazing to hear that. But like I said, if there's anything else on top of, making sure our boys kind of, keep our ideals going forward, is amazing.
That is amazing. Even listening to that is just so powerful. What is the next for the brand? Any new products, any expansions, any exciting projects that you are working on?
Well,
that you can share.
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine, okay, so right now our product is primarily available in retail, but imagine walking into your company break room at 3:00 and next to the coffee and tea and the Cheetos is Millie sipping broth. Now, imagine how satisfying that would be if you worked in a big or small company to have that available. Or imagine you're on an airplane and the beverage cart comes down the aisle and they said, would you like coffee, tea, or Thai lemongrass broth? Right?
Yes, let's put that out in the
it needs to be out there. Absolutely. Yes. Or if you were in a hospital and you were in recovery and they brought the tray of food to you, and instead of hot, salty water that they normally give you for the soup, that you could make your own cup of pho right there. This fresh tasting pho, how that would help you recover. Yeah. Those are the things that we're working on.
Good.
To make our product available, cafes, restaurants, coffee shops, hospitals, break rooms, your hotel at night,
the coffee machine, the
coffee,
tea and the coffee.
That doesn't do anything for you at night. That would be
nice to have a cup of broth at night.
Absolutely. Too. So those are the things that we're working on, making our product available in more situations that are appropriate, that you would, expect to see it.
And also,
the limit.
Something that's really has come up recently is that a lot of people are on the Ozempic products, the weight loss products.
Yes.
And not only are they trying to lose weight, but people often have a little bit of nausea with this medication. Different parts of that medication give them a little nausea. We have heard from customers that our broth actually helps to settle their stomachs, which is really wonderful. So we're hoping that we can reach out to that community too, because if that's a help for them, I mean, that's a big asset. And again, if you're trying to cut calories and reduce your food intake and still be satisfied, this is a key item, Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is fabulous.
And you can open the packet and you can season with it. So I make, yes.
Tell me more. How does that work?
You just rip it open and add it to
Oh my
your
gosh.
pasta.
I don't know if you eat eggs but you can sprinkle that Thai lemongrass on your eggs. Oh my gosh. It's so good. So you can use it as seasoning too. I make I make the tortilla. I make a little pot of lentils with the tortilla,
Sprinkle it on avocado.
baked potato. It's really, yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you for telling me,
yeah,
because it
yeah,
is another way of using this. Lovely. You can
yeah.
season your salad with,
Yeah,
even.
Sure,
Right?
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
I
great.
actually make a salad dressing. I do vinegar, just white vinegar and a packet of the tomato and oil and shake it really, really good. And it makes a nice little salad dressing.
That sounds
Yeah.
very yummy. Thank you for telling me that. I will
Hmm.
definitely have that in mind. So when things get tough in the business, how do you keep yourself motivated and still connected as a couple?
We take the dog for a walk. Seriously. Those walks help so much because we're away from the home.
We can talk really loud.
We can talk loud. We can argue.
Sometimes we need to talk loud to each other, and it's outside.
And we go out and solve a problem. That's really what we do.
And then we also
when things
have
get
different
tough.
hobbies.
Yes.
So she's a thrift shopper, and
and
I'm a skier, and then we like to do biking together. So having those hobbies and carving out time to do them.
Yeah,
that's critical.
You have to have a life too. If you spend your whole focus on business, you'll go nuts.
Yeah. Oh, this is such a fun adventure that you have embarked on, it seems like.
Oh, sometimes it's not fun.
No.
Life is not fun all the time either.
True. But we're at least we're honest about it.
Lance started several months ago. He started the cold plunge, the ice cold plunge. So he does that every morning at 7:00 in the morning. I'm in bed, not thinking about diving into a cold. He does. He goes into a plunge up to his neck, and that for him, that's another little.
It's a challenge.
And it keeps his mind off work for a few minutes.
Good for you. Is that from what is his name? The Iceman.
Wim Hof.
Wim Hof. Exactly. So I do that too. I don't have it.
You do?
Showers, I do, because I went to Tony Robbins seminar, the Unleash the Power Within.
Yeah.
2017 or something, and then Wim Hof was there to explain about the benefits of the cold showers, the benefits of ice and coldness and all that. Ever since, I started taking cold showers every day.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, I can't imagine.
I don't have plunge, obviously. We are in New York City. But the benefits that the cold water has on your system, on your nervous system, on the health, it's totally a different podcast.
Well, the water was 41 degrees this morning, and it was icy, but it gives you it forces you to not think about anything else for 90 seconds or 120 seconds, however long you're doing it for. Yeah,
exactly. That will exactly that will bring all the brain focus in one. It's just
you don't have a choice. Yeah,
you don't have a choice. What it does to the body is just so powerful.
Right.
So powerful.
Well,
good for you. This is fabulous.
Good for you. Both of you. I admire you both. I'm not doing that.
If you were to go back to the day one of launching your business, what would be the advice that you would give yourself?
The advice is, this is going to be, it's a race without
it's a journey,
a goal line, and get ready for ups and downs. And I wouldn't say no end in sight, but have the idea that you're probably going to be doing this for a while, and look for the enjoyment along the way. Yes. Because there are times where there are some challenges that take us a little while to figure out. We get them almost weekly. There are good challenges, bad challenges, whatever. and you just have the perspective, right? Of
Well, and me having no business experience really at all, I always figured, just as a consumer, if you had your product on a store shelf, you've got it made.
Exactly.
You think, oh, you see all these great products on shelves. Well, these companies have it made. It's got to sell, and it's got to sell over and over and over and over. So
Right.
those are all things that really were a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's
Right.
all work. It's just work constantly.
But it's the journey, like you said. It's all about the journey. It's not about the end line.
That's it. And sometimes it's hard. It blurs, right?
Yeah.
Because you're looking for a finite result.
Yeah.
But it's not finite. It's an ongoing thing. And so focusing on that journey and the outcomes of the journey
Of each step
are
right.
really
Right.
important. And yeah, just remembering that.
Have you ever had this moment of, oh my God, what have I got myself into?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So when we got the opportunity to work with, multi-billion-dollar companies, the first one was Weight Watchers. That was the very first one, right? What did we get ourselves into? But then we quickly realized it was fine. I mean, we were able to take care of what their requirements. They were satisfied with what we were doing. Each time we get to a stage like that, we get to that point where like, oh no, what did we get into? Doing business with the world's largest retailer, Walmart. When we got the deal, oh great, but then we had to deliver, right?
Yes.
And we had to make sure we had enough inventory. We had to make the pressure was like, oh wow. Then we did it. Then it's like, okay, now do it over and over and over again, right? You got to promote, you've got to make awareness and that kind of stuff. And then you go, oh no, what did we get ourselves into again, right? So each of those stages, we kind of get to that point, and then we kind of mellow out and figure out, how to do it. Are we always doing it the right way? I don't know.
And we've run into problems, packaging, labeling. I mean, we've had things I never thought we'd deal with, and we have. And boy,
yeah, every company that's out there that has a product that is selling like we're doing, they've all had the same issues. They've all had similar challenges and everything like that. And I think that the people who just say I can't deal with this anymore are, that's one side of it. And then the people who go, we'll figure out a way to deal with this. Yeah. That's the other side. And that's what we try to focus on, is that we may not have the answer right now, but we will have the answer, and then get over that, oh boy, what did we get ourselves into? Yeah. Right. And wait for the next plateau. Yeah.
So you never had I want to quit?
Oh, all the time. Are you kidding? Well, I mean,
we know we can't, but it's nice to say it once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's healthy.
You want to express it. Like, why are we doing this?
It's healthy to have that, because if you don't give yourself, the option, then you're trapped.
Then you're stuck.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to feel trapped in what we're doing. We always want to have options, and so there are times where it's like, I just want to not do this, maybe for a day or a couple of days or something like that. I just got back from a skiing trip. Lori stayed at home, and I had to get away for a few days and came back, and I'm kind of refreshed. I may have to go on another trip next week, but it kind of works its way out. Again, because it's a journey, it's not a finite. There are no finite steps necessarily. You kind of have to reset yourself over and over again.
And also, we so believe in this product. I mean, we love it ourselves. We believe in it. We believe when people taste it, they'll love it. And I think, like Llance said, we get a couple letters every week, which, it just feels so good for people to say, hey, I tried your product and I just love it and thank you, keep making it. That just warms our hearts. It's just the best. And so that keeps us going. And we're very determined.
You just said it. We believe in our product.
We believe it. You have to believe in your product. And we don't make compromises. That's another thing. I mean, we really, quality is just so important to us.
We've been faced with issues along the way with manufacturing where the choice was, do you make a compromise or do you suck it up and focus on the quality? And
what would they mean by the compromise?
Well, we started working, so we've had to work with co-packers or co-manufacturers to make our product. And along the way, we kind of reach their limit every time we get to a certain point, and their limit is the compromise where it's like, okay, I can keep doing this for you, but it's going to taste terrible,
or it's not going to taste quite right.
It's going, there's going to be and then we kind of go, that's the compromise. We're not willing to make that compromise. We have to look beyond your limit. And so we've had to do that several times because as we've, from our kitchen to our first co-packer to each one, there's a stage where they get to where they're like, this is all we can do for you. And then we go, well, that's not good enough. We need to go someplace else. And then we find someone else who raises the quality. We get to a point where they reach a limit, and it's like you either compromise or you look for someone else. And so that's the thing
it's been a challenge.
Yeah. We've we're just not willing to compromise that quality of the product.
Mm-hmm. And the dynamic in your relationship as a couple and as a business, the entrepreneurs, I'm going to use that word.
Problem solvers.
Problem solvers. Yes. Thank you. The problem solvers, who makes the big decisions? Is this something that you do together, or somebody you divide the rules and divide the decisions?
Llance makes the business decisions.
He does.
Okay.
But
he bounces everything off me.
But it has to sound right to her. So anything that's big, we have to talk it out, and it has to make sense to her. Yeah. Because if it doesn't make sense to her, then there's something wrong.
And he'll hear about it.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that. It's just,
but you will.
If it doesn't make sense to her, then it doesn't, that decision doesn't happen, right. Or we rework it until it does make sense.
Right.
So even though I'm mostly focused on the operations and the sales side of it, really, all the quality decisions and the ultimate decisions really come, Lori is really the one that it has to make sense to.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he won't hear the end of it.
Right.
That's all.
We had a pre-interview conversation, and what I really admired and appreciated is that how Llance was speaking highly of you, and he was so supportive of your journey and of what you do. And this is absolutely inspiring and commendable. And I truly appreciate to see things like this in couples. And I wanted to see how Lori's journey and her idea of the business inspires you, and how this whole dynamic transformed you personally.
Well, for me, I think I've learned so much. I think, it's funny. We used to watch Shark Tank a lot, and they'd bring products on that looked good and some didn't. And I learned early on that the best product you can create is a product that solves a problem. Mm-hmm. And we kind of joke about this is how many barbecue sauces are there out there? I mean, do we really need another barbecue sauce? No offense to anyone who's creating a barbecue sauce, but you watch something that is unique and different and it solves a problem. So business wise, my journey has really, I've learned so much. That's me. And I have a lot of respect for Llance. He's amazing. He knows how to run this. I could never do the things he does. So journey wise, that's my journey.
And I think that, you don't like to fail at things. You always want to feel like you're, succeeding at certain things. But I think in business, you have to fail sometimes because that's how you learn. And so that's probably the biggest thing for me. And for Lori to support me, because sometimes I feel like I come down on myself for failing at something that should have been, a success.
Right.
And I think that Lori's support is critical because she said, look, that, you didn't know, it's part of the process. You have to learn that in order to be successful at the next attempt. Absolutely. And so that's probably,
and also early on, Llance was always reaching out to people for information. And we started out with a product. It was a garlic product. And I remember Llance called one of my kids at his school, one of the fathers made a canned tuna fish or something. And Llance just cold called this guy and said, hey, do you know of any manufacturers in the area? So reaching out to other people, don't be afraid to reach out to people and don't be afraid to ask questions. Those are the core pieces of information that get you started. And, a lot of people want to keep everything private and they want to do it secret. People share information and most people are
people do want to help.
Yeah, they want to help.
They do. You're absolutely right. This is a very element to consider. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am gonna try this probably.
You're gonna try the tortilla?
Yes. This is the smells so fabulous. Oh, it's so good. This is so good.
And if you want more intense flavor, so I think that mug
looks like it's bigger than 8 ounces.
That looks bigger than 8 ounces. Yeah. So next time try 8 ounces of water. Yeah.
So just up to here.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's more intense. But yeah.
This is
you can crunch some tortilla chips in there too. Make a little soup.
Or you can put protein powder in there if you're looking, for like whey protein or soy protein. Absolutely.
Or if you're headed for a colonoscopy.
Yes.
You don't have to suffer without any food. You can drink the broth.
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah.
All the patients out there. Everybody out there.
Everybody out there. And it's, what else? Oh, let me just say one more thing.
Please.
It's all vegetarian, which is a wonderful option for people because there's so much bone broth out there. And personally, I don't drink. I'm a vegetarian. So it satisfies a whole group of people because as Llance says, we all start out as vegetarians.
Yes.
We start out with,
that's the basis.
And then you add stuff to it.
Yes, absolutely. This was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for making time for me and coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very much.
Really appreciate the time.
Thank you, Sis. It was absolute pleasure for me. I have one more question.
Sure.
If your brand were to write a love letter to the world, what would be the first line?
Sip slow and stay cozy.
Ooh, I love it.
There you go.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. It was a pleasure. I'm a huge fan now of your product.
Thank you.
Thank you.